Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Today we have with us Steve Mumford, our Community Development Director and Assistant City Manager. Thank you for joining us, Steve.
No problem. Happy to be here.
So certainly community development is a busy department these days. A lot going on in a lot of different directions to keep up with a city like Eagle Mountain and plan for the future. What are some of the things that that our residents might be interested in that are happening in community development?
Well, first of all, community development is our planners, our team of planners, our building inspection crew and the staff that go along with that, and our neighborhood improvement officers that help keep our city clean and neighborhoods nice.
About how many people is that? What is a community development staff like?
We have about 17 or 18 employees. Most of those on the building side, trying to keep up with the growth and all the building permits, but we have a team of 3 excellent planners and then the 3 neighborhood improvement officers as well.
And you've got job openings looking for more people, right? So what are some of the positions that you have open?
Right now we're hiring for a planner, planner 1, planner 2 position. And then we have an exciting position that's new that we haven't seen in the state, at least in our research, which is an environmental planner. And those are common in the private sector and with consulting firms, but we're looking for someone who has experience and knowledge of wildlife, so more of an environmental/wildlife biologist. And that person would be involved in reviewing development applications and proposals to make sure that the impact to the wildlife is minimal or none, but also planning ahead and being proactive. So looking at our washes, our natural washes that go through the city and our ridge lines and our open space areas to make sure that we're planning appropriately for both recreation and open space opportunities, but also protecting the wildlife that live here and call this place home.
Yeah, that's one of the exciting things about Eagle Mountain. Not only are we growing in our economic development, in our residential development, but we're really on the forefront of a lot of open space preservation, wildlife accommodation. And so we're really literally are covering some new territory that typically cities don't do, and so there aren't a lot of examples to follow. So we're learning as we go, and we're establishing a standard as we go. So yeah, I'm definitely excited. I hope we find a good person for that position, because that will give us the eyes and boots on the ground, so to speak, to really help us have that constant flow of information and management, because we are, one of the great things we have, what do we have now? Something like 6,400 acres, if I remember right, of open space.
We've got a lot of open space, a lot of natural open space, right. And then our parks and trail systems.
Yeah, and so certainly ongoing effort to protect or preserve, to dedicate open space, but then there's management too, and working with developers, and that position will be a real asset to the city in planning and management going forward. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. Speaking of open space and trails, what's happening there?
Oh, well, we have an exciting project coming up. So the city has we have our Parks, Open Space and Trails Master Plan, which was approved in the last couple of years. And then that plans out the future of all these open spaces and has standards for our parks and those sorts of things. And then we have our Bike and Pedestrian Master Plan, which really focuses on those pedestrian modes of transportation and getting, as well as recreation, but connecting our trail systems and our sidewalks and focusing on intersections as well, dangerous intersections. How do we cross people? And so the exciting part is we are looking to update that plan, the bike and pedestrian plan, but with a focus on natural trails and off-street trails. So looking up into, we know we have a great asset in our mountain bike trail system that's sort of naturally occurred with the mountain bike community up in the hills. It brings the high school mountain biking teams there for competitions each year. And then we also have a great OHV trail system that we've developed over the years and partnered with private property owners and our equestrian community as well. So, and you can't be out here in the hills on a Saturday or any day in the summer without seeing someone running up in the hills, someone hiking, and bikers and others. So along those lines, we've partnered with a developer in the Hidden Valley area, the lower Hidden Valley area, to create trailheads for both mountain biking, hiking, and then a larger trailhead that should be coming hopefully later this year for all of that, but also OHV. So if they don't drive those from their home to the trail system, then they can bring them on the trailer and unload there.
That'll be nice. So what is a trailhead? Can we talk about that for a moment? What will be there?
Well, there's actually 3 different trailheads that are being developed there.
Okay.
And there's a small one just above the school there, Hidden Hollow Elementary, close to the well house, that will be a paved parking area. We'll have that one combined with another larger one that's about a 60 parking stall trailhead close by, just a little up the hill. We'll have a restroom. It'll have a bike repair station, bike fix-it station, and of course signs for indicating where the trails are and their designations. And like you said, we're going to have OHV users up there. We're going to have hikers, runners, bikers, maybe some equestrian riders, and they aren't compatible with each other. So if we can get some great signage, that will help a lot. And the other part of this is some of that property, a lot of that property is private property, and those property owners have been excellent to work with to allow that use. And we have a lot of work ahead of us to make sure we solidify that, and with a note that some of those trails may change in location over time as property develops, as landowners utilize their property rights. We are planning to work closely with them to make sure our trail systems connect and still are fantastic.
That is so very encouraging when we see developers recognize the benefits of these trails and the open space, and do what they can to partner with us in working to see that plan come to fruition and have that really fun, unique, special end product that'll make for a great place to live. And of course, you add to that another layer, which is the wildlife. And yeah, there's a lot going on there. There's a lot to deal with. There's a lot to figure out and to plan. And I know that most your counterparts in other cities, I'm pretty sure don't have to deal with all of that. And so everyone appreciates the scope of planning and management and work that you and your department are taking on. So I know it's a lot of work.
It keeps us on our toes for sure, and it's exciting. All of this future planning with the open spaces, with transportation, with our parks, with the wildlife deer migration corridor, and as well as our general plan and a lot of aspects of implementation of that, just keep me excited and our planners excited. And it's always a balance of trying to do enough and put enough time and effort into the future planning when most of your time is taken up by reviewing development applications and dealing with the current growth that we're facing, right? But that's one reason why we're hiring and why we're improving efficiencies as well. So something exciting, at least internally. I'm not sure others care about it much, but we're moving towards digital systems, more digital software for our planning applications, for building permits, processes, and trying to move as fast as we can toward that to make it so that, hey, our people have more time to focus on those future planning projects. So a few exciting things that we're going to be doing as well is what we call small area plans, but it's really taking a large portion of the city and getting a consultant on board to help us think through and envision, together with the property owners there, what's the potential of this property and what's the right land use there, and how can we maximize both the possibility of retail businesses and shopping, and but also living, and how do we connect that with transportation and trail systems. So we have a few of those areas of the city that we're going to be working on this year, in conjunction with the other plans that we already talked about.
Well, that'll be really exciting, really fun to see that take shape, and look forward to just a quality product we can all be proud of. And in fact, speaking of quality, one of the things that I hope that people will recognize and appreciate is all the work that's going into our commercial development standards, so that in our commercial areas where we're going to shop and seek services and whatever our activities are, that those structures will look like they belong in the area.
Right. Yeah, we're focused on getting some assistance from an architectural firm to help us update those design standards for our commercial buildings. And people often don't think that, I mean, people are so excited about getting new businesses to the city that sometimes I think they don't realize how much has to go into planning for making sure the traffic works correctly through the site, making sure that building looks as nice as possible. And we can only push so far on that, but we want it to be attractive as well as functional, and get those services in as quickly as possible. So yeah, we're excited to update those standards and hopefully bring a little more consistency and some good aesthetics to our commercial areas.
Well, it sounds like we're going to be able to look forward to a lot of fun, new, exciting additions this year. So thank you, Steve, for joining us, and thank you for sharing that information.
Thank you.
All right, and thank you to our viewers. We'll see you next time.